Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to TRS Live with your hosts Brian Keller, Matt Trotz, and Zach Hoffman, presented by The Real Shot.
I'ma do this here forever. EQ. Forever. Triune. Forever. Yeah. Forever. I'ma do this here forever. Let's go. All you haters better get comfy. This the day you've been waiting on. Your road is finna get bumpy. Yes. This the track I'm making my statement on. I ain't going nowhere. This the place that I'm making home. I'll do this shit forever. Hit the gas and I'm taking off. Ow. I was born with passion. My job is never ending and my hustle's everlasting. No matter what, I'm gon' ball. Even with my back to the wall. And the best part is that this is the beginning. I'ma do this here forever. Forever.
All right.
We're here.
Intro.
It worked.
Oh.
Looked good. Welcome, everybody, to our show today.
No, I missed it. Is the voiceover in it yet?
Yeah, the voiceover is in there.
What? So that it introduced the show.
And we introduced the show.
I can't wait till we have screens in here so we can see everything.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be
Right behind me. I want it to be right where that is.
huge.
Huge.
Whatever the biggest TV that they make, that's what we need on that wall.
It's called The Wall, and it's like, I forgot how many inches it is, but it like would take up this whole wall. It's by Samsung. Nuts.
Yeah, because I need more distractions.
Right.
Right.
Do they sell it at Costco?
Probably.
I mean,
Costco, Sam's Club.
Yeah, you walk into that place. I mean, it's nuts how big some of those TVs are. It's crazy. I haven't been in there for a while. But anyways, start it
All
up,
right.
Zach. Fire it up.
All right, well, welcome everybody to the show. Today we are talking firearms. We are talking all things firearms. I know we had kind of done the announcement live, and now here on the official TRS Live show, we're going to dig a little deeper into what we're going to be carrying, what we should expect as far as a timeline, and a lot of other stuff. So right off the bat, we're going to introduce again. Here's Steve. In the middle there.
Hi.
He is our
It's feeling super
the magic
chatty
man.
today. Yeah.
Magic man for the firearms department. So I don't know. Where should we start? Firearms is a broad topic. Real broad.
Oh, it's a huge topic, and it's exciting. And and I'll be honest with you, there's a lot of things that I have no clue about with firearms. I know I like to shoot them,
Yep.
and that's pretty much all I really know.
That's all you really need to
That's
know.
all, I would hope so.
Everything else just details.
You put a bullet in, you close her up, you pull the trigger, the bullet comes out, and that's it.
And hopefully it's the right bullet. So
Some
that
magic
actually-
happens
yeah.
in there.
Well, so we'll say it right off the bat. So if we just like on Monday's show,
Yep.
we get some good feedback, we get some good questions. You can see we got a couple awesome hats there. We're gonna give those hats away today. So
Yep.
I mean, we're
All of them. There's
all-
4 of them there.
There's 4. There's two different styles of Hornady, and then a Nikon. You
Yep.
know, and then so cool.
Awesome.
Anybody's got any awesome questions for us? Now, again, like this is super brand new for us. So since it's so brand new, let's go back to the timeline. So Brian tasked you and Mark, which unfortunately Mark, because we're so busy on the floor right now, couldn't be here today. But if you come into the store, he's up there, he's up front. They're in the process to kind of step out of the gun area for a second of redoing their terminal wall.
And bringing in Great Lakes.
Bringing in Great Lakes. So if anybody's in the area right now, stop in. Dude, like this is the part of the morphing of the store, the transition is starting to happen.
Seriously, if you're a Great Lakes fisherman, we are bringing on, I don't know, I know for a fact it's Wisconsin's largest assortment of Michigan Stinger products, but I'm starting to think that it might be the Midwest's. We're pretty close to what the Midwest. I mean, it's insane.
It's crazy. Like I thought it was just one brand, like in one style from that company.
Yeah.
I know he put some pictures out there, wasn't on Instagram and Facebook, but like it took up most of the terminal wall already.
Yeah,
That's just one
like,
selection.
Of just trolling blades.
Like
and
a
whatnot,
spoon,
so
yeah. It's crazy.
It's insane. But
So,
anyways,
back to
firearms.
Steve's talking about it. So you got your catchy slogan again is what?
Hunt, compete, protect.
Yep. So let's okay, so back to the timeline. So Brian tasked you guys are busting it like crazy. Estimated timeline again is
For actually starting the sale of firearms sometime in March.
Sometime in March.
Probably.
So the gun counter build out is going to start happening
Real soon.
real soon.
Real soon.
Like it could start today.
There's a whole lot. There's a whole lot of pieces that have to come into play here.
Yep.
We don't have absolute control over all of them. We have to see what happens in what order and hope it all works out.
Yep.
It's like any other big project. Just a lot of moving parts.
Yeah. Yeah. And you and Mark are working, together on that, and you guys are. It's crazy how fast, like, because even the gun area in the warehouse for storage and all that kind of stuff that came together.
Yeah,
like
we
overnight.
got that. We got that all taken care of now. We got the lighting in there. We got the security the way we need it now, so we're comfortable with firearm security in this business. Firearm security is actually more important than sales. It's more important than anything. You have to have the security.
Right.
So now that we're comfortable with that in back, the guns are starting to come in here. All the ancillary equipment that goes with the ammunition, everything else,
starting to flow in.
Yeah.
Yep. So there are guns locked up tightly, but they're in the building. They're just nothing to really go hit the sales floor until that March.
No,
timeline.
we've got to get that gun counter build out done.
Yep.
We've got people working on that. Working on getting display cases in here, and they're going to have to get lit. We're going to have a whole register out there, and our FFL kiosk for submitting background checks online. All in the building phase.
So people are going to have to be patient. I mean, patient first of all with the gun sales starting to happen, and be patient with the construction that's going to take place.
Absolutely, we're really disrupting that range out there, and our archery customers, our range customers, I feel for them. I understand this is a disruption that, to a certain extent, some of them may not like to see happen, but we understand that.
Right.
We have to go forward with this.
Well, and like just coming in now and seeing the way the salmon wall is kind of coming to fruition, like. Yeah, it has to happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just that one area that took up so much in just one category of salmon, and we have oodles and oodles of salmon coming, and all that kind of stuff. Like, yeah, it's a necessity. Unfortunately,
with all the construction that's got to happen, yet destruction and construction at the same time, that we have to keep the doors open and product on the shelves for the customers. It's a challenge for everybody in the building.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yep.
But I think a big thing to piggyback off that real quick is just with especially our loyal customer base and fan base is it's only for the better.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
literally
100%
we are
going to
becoming
benefit
the
everybody in the area.
One-stop shop.
Yep.
You know what I mean? One-stop shop, so we'll have everything you'll need.
And this has been Brian's, brainchild since the Real Shot was created. I mean, obviously the fishing and the archery side was monstrous, but he always wanted to have guns. And he had Mark in here, and and then everything just finally came to the stars aligned and brought Steve in, and now boom, now it's happening. It's happening rapidly. So March-ish is the deadline, kind of. So firearm.
Obviously, we'll keep updating that.
Yeah.
And hopefully we won't know, at the last minute. Hey, by the way, tomorrow.
Well, if it's anything like most things around here, it kind of will be all of a sudden like, hey, guess what? Go now. Get back. Let's start a podcast.
Right. Which we did.
Right.
And it works.
Right.
Which is awesome.
You and I were tasked, and we got it done.
We got it done. Yep. Actually, I think we had talked about the podcast for how many weeks? Actually, since I started here, it was just a talk.
Yep.
And then finally one day, Brian looked at me and said, basically, we need to get this done. And I looked at him like, well, do you want it done right now? And he says, can you do it right now? And I said, Matt, let's go to Guitar Center.
Right.
And we came back with the whole thing rigged out and
that's
set
the
up.
same way. Like, he looks at you, he says, do it, and now you got to get her done. So, and that's the way you looked at Steve and Mark, and look, it's getting done. So, so let's not go crazy. I know you had mentioned a number of brands that just in firearms themselves that we're going to carry.
Mm-hmm.
That number is...
well, what I've got ordered so far is from 35 different companies.
I like.
That's...
Some of those, I've got one here. I've got one model of one gun that they make coming in. And we threw around the term novelty earlier.
Yeah.
It's the Trailblazer Life Card, they call it. It's a folding single-shot 22 pistol. I was intrigued when I saw it online, and then I actually had a chance to see one at this distributor show we were at. They had the thing folded up and inside an Altoid tin.
Oh.
And it fit perfectly. And I said, I don't know why anybody would want one of these. I'm ordering one.
Let's get one. Well, and
Because at the end of the day, we're all kids.
Oh,
right. But also think about the application. If you're a hunter or a fisherman, go out, you get lost, or you just have an accident or something. Now you've got that in there. It's a novelty until you need it. And now you've got that folding with single shot 22. You shoot a rabbit, you just fed yourself. And
I would hate for anybody to think that I would consider that to be the first choice for that application. But again, it's still going to come back to somebody who's going to go, I have no idea why I need this. Write it up.
Yep. Because you guys ordered another gun, too, that looks like a cell phone almost, right? It's like Megan was showing me when she was entering the product to the website. It's like this big, and it folds up again, and it's a 22, but it...
No, that's it. That's the gun.
Oh, that's the one.
Yeah,
okay,
the one,
yeah, this one didn't look like it fit in an Altoid can, but that's crazy. Because I think Brian did a Instagram story on a gun that looked like it was a cell phone as well.
Yep, that was the one.
That's a market that's got a lot of people playing around in it.
Well, I mean, self-defense... is a huge area to look at, and that's concealing and all that kind of stuff is. So that's kind of the perfect thing for the application.
Oh boy! Again, I hate to use the word perfect for that.
Right.
I would sell it personally as a novelty.
Now, okay. Nobody wants to ever
the amount
use
of time
it.
The amount of time it would take to deploy an underpowered single shot firearm to defend yourself would be better spent running.
There you go. That's why Steve's in here.
I could really imagine that now, just being like in a bad situation,
right.
and going like,
"Give me a second. Give me a
1
second,
second, guys. I gotta."
Wait,
I gotta.
The bad person would be like, "Is that your cell phone? Are you taking a selfie with me or what?"
Well, when we're talking about hunting, okay, that's a luxury. That's recreation. When we're talking about competing, that's a luxury. That's recreation. When I'm talking to customers about defending themselves, their loved ones, their home, their family, their community, I get real serious about that.
There's nothing to mess around with.
So we can have fun talking about it, certainly. But if somebody comes into the store and wants to talk to me about that, they can expect a pretty serious conversation.
That's awesome.
Right.
That's
and the
awesome.
best thing is to have somebody like you talk to them, because the thing is you go to a big box store that's selling firearms. You go in there, 90% of the time the guy behind the counter might not know exactly how to sell a firearm to you, because everybody's hands are different, everybody's capabilities are different, and everybody's needs are different. So if you can assess those needs and get somebody the perfect fitting, but also firing and functionality of the firearm, I mean, that's even better that you can come here and do that.
God, he summed that up nice, didn't he?
That was amazing.
That was awesome.
Yeah, and I know again, like on the last time we spoke firearms with you, Steve. Like, but what is the years of experience between like you, Carl, and Mark? I mean,
I don't
just
have
in the
that many fingers and toes. I've been in this business on and off my entire adult life, and I am not young anymore. I stole my first firearm in 1975. Andy Wickland, who's with us part-time.
Oh, that's right, Andy. Yep.
He started at Gander shortly after I did back in 2002. Carl has been a cowboy half of his life. He lives and breathes guns like I do.
That's good. That's a good way to sum Carl up as a cowboy.
And Mark, who is nothing short of amazing as a retail salesman.
Yep.
No, he's first and foremost a user of the product and a fast learner.
Yep.
When I first met him, he was working part-time at Gander in customer service. He came in the door, and I think 6 months later, he was running the gun department.
Wow, that's cool.
A lot of knowledge there. A lot of knowledge.
So that just kind of sums it up as don't be afraid to come in here and ask any questions.
Right.
We're on a daily basis, we're stopping you, Mark, Carl, and all of us that work here, and we're just asking general questions because it's such a new and exciting topic for everybody here that you guys do such a good job of answering all these questions too, and not making it feel like, well, that's a silly question,
Right.
No, I know. one of my favorite conversations I've had with customers over the years is a guy that walks up to the gun counter. Can I help you with something today? Yeah, I got a stupid question. Hey, that's great.
No.
I'm really good at those. And there are stupid questions. Trust me, I've answered most of them. But don't be afraid to look like you don't know what you're talking about. You're there to ask a question so you don't know yet.
Right. Yes.
I'm here. I think first and foremost, when I'm selling guns, I'm educating people to the best of my ability, and then helping implement the purchase.
Yep. So it's going to be no different. So obviously, this is one of the categories we want to talk about, the service side. That's only going to get better. Like, archery and fishing knowledge that we have in the store is phenomenal right now.
Yeah.
And we don't skimp around on stuff, so why not just duplicate that into the gun world? And obviously that's going to happen. So again, anybody that's new to owning a firearm, in any aspect of it all, once we are full-fledged with this, do not be afraid to come in here and just talk.
Not. I have sold a lot of guns to a lot of people with a lot of different experience over the years. I've sold firearms to experienced combat Marines and soldiers, and I have sold them to people who owned more guns than I did already, which is saying a lot. I have sold the first gun to somebody who walked in the store, didn't know anything about them, but decided that they were going to own a firearm. I love dealing with all these people. Among my favorite people to deal with is the person that comes in, doesn't know anything, asks smart questions, and then listens to the answers.
Right.
I love helping these folks.
Yep.
Right, and I've got E.C. Davis has actually stated something I was about to say, was a stupid question answered is better than a person possibly misusing a weapon.
Oh,
it's
for
so
sure.
true.
Absolutely.
We would much rather somebody come in here and ask the dumbest question in the world that could potentially save them a life or a finger or anything.
If it's a question that involves their safety or the safety of the public, it's not a stupid question.
Well, and for him, he knows that he's an officer. So
Right.
he knows, this is the education that's going to come out of this place is just going to make everybody way better on the streets and everything like that.
Yep.
So I thought I lost my train of thought. Sorry, it's Friday.
It happens. It's Friday. We're sitting here going like it's Friday. Tomorrow's ice fishing day. We've got
if
plans
you're
for
willing
the
to
weekend,
brave it.
But,
But
hey,
no, so like back to it, 35 brands is at the start of all this.
Yeah, I don't know that we can go a whole lot deeper than that.
Right.
But I did try to be comprehensive with this. Frankly, my purchasing decisions sometimes just made the world of sense, and sometimes I looked like a particularly stupid squirrel in traffic. But it's been fun. And I mentioned this, I think, during the last time I was in here with you gentlemen. I don't want people to walk in and look at our gun counter, our firearm display in the cases, our long gun display, and go, yeah, I've seen that
Yep.
elsewhere, everywhere else.
No.
They're
Right.
If you can't find something that makes you want to go, oh, I got to see that, then I'm not doing my job right.
Right.
And frankly, you got to be a pretty hardened, hardcore gun freak not to get a little excited about something.
I know some of the stuff we won't go into detail, but some of the stuff you told me you ordered, I'm sitting here excited about, waiting for it to come in just to go out and plink around
I
with
can't wait to open the boxes.
it. It'll be like Christmas. We could just do that on
It's going to
live
be a
stream.
lot of fun. Actually, Mark
sure
and I
Facebook
had
would
that
love that.
conversation the other day.
Yeah.
At a certain point, we're finally going to say, okay, let's get these guns out of the boxes and out on display, and we're going to have a hard time focusing. It's going to be, oh, hey, look at this. Look at this.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we do need product training, so we're going to have to take at least one of each to the range.
yeah, go to the, yep.
I'm going to need your credit card.
So real quick, we do have a question, a little bit of a general question, a little bit of a personal opinion question for you. What gun would you recommend for a first-time gun owner and why for home defense?
A youth size shotgun. Youth size because in close quarters we don't need a real long buttstock. They're easier to use, easier to maneuver. They're going to have a shorter barrel. I'd recommend 20 gauge because it's going to have lighter recoil and still will get the job done. Shotgun because only a real professional would even think about intentionally taking a pistol to a gunfight.
Right.
Right.
First of all, though, probably good knowledge first before purchasing the gun. You know, getting yourself a class of some kind. You know, if you don't already own a gun, educate yourself first before you just get it. Like, so concealed carry, has that been brought up? Are we going to handle classes like that at any time?
I know that Mark has been in touch with a gentleman we both know and have worked with in the past. I'm not going to name any names yet because I don't know if they've had the conversation, but he does want to get him in here to teach a class or at least have a presentation.
Or like a hunter safety or something like that. I mean,
this would be geared more toward concealed carry.
Okay, perfect.
Actually discussing the important topics of concealed carry, because first thing people have to decide is, should I?
Once you pull the trigger, you can't grab it. You can't bring it back.
It's a very, very important topic to give deep consideration to. And having somebody who is seasoned and well-trained and experienced in teaching those things, I think is important for everybody, even experienced gun owners and handlers who are trying to decide or have decided that they're going to start carrying. One of these classes is important. Very, very important.
Right. And I think there's at least in my opinion, which is there's going to be a lot of opinions on this show.
Yep.
But in my opinion with concealed carry, I mean, like, you have to be the right person for it. You know, a lot of people go out to get one with no idea of the possible consequences. They just think, hey, look at me, I'm safe because I can carry a gun. And if you don't follow up with your safety and you're not going out and shooting your gun and you're not learning how to use it efficiently, I mean, it's great to have the piece of paper, but if you're not going to be effective with it, could you cause potentially more damage having that?
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Anytime you have a firearm in your hands, that's an enormous responsibility, regardless of why you've got it there.
Right.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's a controversial topic at the very, very base level. First, everybody constitutionally and ethically and morally has a right and responsibility to protect themselves, their family, their loved ones, their community, and bystanders.
Yep.
On the other hand, with that comes the responsibility to be able to do that without causing injury,
right,
and causing more problems than you're potentially solving.
Right.
So it's like back in the 70s, there was a huge push by certain political factions to try to eliminate what they called the Saturday night special, cheap handguns. They wanted to take those off the market. And knowledgeable gun people all stood around and went, oh, okay, I guess I can see that, until somebody else stood up and said, so really what you're saying is that the less economically advanced people don't have the same right to self-defense as people who can afford the good stuff. So very, very valid point made there, and I guess that's a circumspect way of coming around to saying everybody has the right to protect themselves. I encourage everybody to learn how to do it well.
Yep. Educate yourself, for sure.
The world that we live in is not getting any nicer by the day. So
in here it is.
Right.
But out there on the main streets, it's
out there in the wild.
Yep. It is a very sketchy topic to talk about, and we're open to everybody's views of it.
Absolutely.
And I think it's important at this point for us to say it is a pretty weighty subject for the three of us in here.
Yeah.
We're commenting on it. I don't feel that any of us is qualified to be the end authority on it.
No, not
I don't
at all.
want anybody to think that we're saying that.
So
absolutely.
So I think we answered that question now as a start. I mean, we kind of got off topic a little bit, but I think
imagine that.
That happens on talk shows.
I mean, this is just a huge area. It's a huge area of a lot of unknowns, and we're all learning every single day. You have great knowledge on it, but you're always learning, just like we always constantly do here at The Real Shot. So that was a really good question to start out with. But just like anything, it's just like, buying a new fishing pole, buying a new bow, buying a car, educate yourself first.
Yep.
Come in here, you're available now. So just because we can't sell guns,
absolutely,
you can still come in and start talking and get the ideas now, get the knowledge now, so that day when we start selling guns, it's a lot easier for everybody. And you feel like it's a great decision.
Absolutely. I'm available here full time. I'm spending a lot of time in the back doing all this prep work. But if somebody comes in, they want to talk, they got serious questions about firearms, whether it's personal protection or hunting or whatever, let the guys out front know. I'll come out.
Yep.
I'd be more than happy to come out and talk with you about it. Hopefully, at some point in the future, there's a purchase involved, but that's secondary.
Right. And they could always message the store, email the store, all that kind of stuff. There's plenty of ways that people can get yourselves in touch with Mark, Carl, Andy, all that kind of stuff.
You bet.
So, yeah.
Yep.
So, a real good question, though. Real good question. So, back to the brands, 35 different brands. Let's just throw out 5 that people are going to probably get excited about.
Sure. I'm going to bring up the number one brand that I'm really excited about. CZ, the importation company, the U.S. company is CZ USA. CZ makes a lot of rifles and handguns in Czechoslovakia. They are sole importer of a beautiful brand of shotguns out of Turkey, and they're also starting to build some guns in the U.S. I think they're really underappreciated. They represent great values, and we're going to see a pretty substantial selection of the CZ shotguns, rifles, and pistols in the store here.
Cool.
Another brand, the Bergara. We mentioned them before. Bergara is best known for making barrels for CVA, but they are just a beautifully built bolt-action rifle at a good value stance. First thing everybody that I've handed a Bergara rifle to has said when they looked the gun over and tried, went through the manual of arms with it and said, God, this thing's got a great trigger. And they really, really do. They're known for their accuracy. That's a brand that I'm very, very excited about.
So I got a question for you. So without shooting the gun, you can dry fire a trigger?
Generally speaking, there's a lot of misunderstanding about that, and it goes back to old school workmanship, old school metallurgy. Back when most firing pins weren't spring-loaded, the metallurgy, the metals tend to be a little bit more brittle. You could damage a firearm through dry firing. Modern firearms, modern center fire firearms, most trainers insist that you spend a lot of time dry firing the firearm. It's perfectly safe. What I tell people is this: rim fires, you don't want to dry fire most rim fires because the firing pin is actually hitting the edge of the chamber and can damage it. Antique firearms, don't want to dry fire. Any firearm wherein the owner's manual specifically says do not dry fire this firearm, don't dry fire it. But otherwise, my carry guns, I dry fire them probably 10 to 1.
What does that mean, carry gun?
Concealed carry.
Oh, okay.
Concealed carry or open carry. Gun that I carry ostensibly to protect myself or my loved ones. Those guns need to get shot more than any other firearm you own. You need to practice with them. Dry fire practice is a great way to develop trigger control, develop your skills with the firearm. The carry guns get shot.
They can get shot.
And dry fired a lot.
Again, that's a good question to ask if you're coming in. I had I've heard the term. I mean, obviously, I'm more of an archer, and I know you can't dry fire a bow.
No. And again, there's old school. There'll be the people that come in and absolutely insist that you cannot. Well, you know what? When they learned, it was a bad idea. Times have changed, just like ammunition potential. There was a point in time when the 9mm, which is ubiquitous these days, was considered inadequate for personal defense. And based on the performance of ammunition that was available at that time, they were absolutely right. Those guys, there's some old school people, guys who, like myself, kind of get stuck in our ways, and we know this to be a fact now. 20 years from later, we still insist that's the fact, and it's not the case anymore. There's a lot of that we have to deal with as diplomatically as possible.
Right.
The guy that says you can't dry fire that well. Okay, I understand you couldn't then, but you can now.
Right. I have a real good question for you. Another personal.
Is this a hat question?
I think this could be one. Personal preference question. Is it better to teach your kids to deer hunt with a shotgun for a more patient/closer shot, or a rifle for a more accurate shot? I'd love to hear your opinion, and thank you guys. And that's again from EC Davis.
Oh, cool. Good question.
I don't see any reason when the rifle is a legal option. I don't see any reason to go to a shotgun. Rifle's going to have lighter recoil. It's going to have more accuracy. It's going to enable cleaner kills at varying distances. The shotgun is going to give you put a limit on distance that you can put a distance limit on hunting with a rifle. You say, I don't want you taking a shot over 50, 60 yards.
Right.
Shotgun, I've killed literally truckloads of deer with a shotgun in my life. I grew up in Wapaka County. The rifle's just the better choice.
Yep. Caliber? Do you have a certain youth model? I think 243 is
for youngsters.
Yeah.
243 is a great choice. 7mm08, the hot new caliber, the 6.5 Creedmoor, is going to give you mild recoil, excellent ballistic performance. Another controversial subject goes back to that change in ammunition performance, the 223 and the 22-250. 10 years ago, if you told me you were going to go hunt deer with a 223, I would have smiled politely at my customer. When he walked away, I had to shook my head and say, what an idiot. Times have changed. Ammunition is now available that makes those centerfire 22s, the 223, the 22-250, viable choices with the correct ammunition.
Yep.
Right.
And
it's important that you understand what that is and use it if you're going to hunt with those calibers.
Comes right back to education. That's another good question. I think EC's been pretty active today. We'll throw him.
You get a hat, EC. Now, I just want to throw in on that and say that I was a kid that grew up hunting a shotgun-only county, and I didn't want to hunt shotgun-only because in that county where we were hunting, the main spot that we hunted was an open field.
Right.
You're looking, 100, 150 yards of possibilities. And I remember one time in particular, my late brother and I were sitting just outside the little cabin, and this monster buck, I mean, the largest deer I have ever seen in my entire life. And it was the year before they opened up rifle, and we couldn't do anything about it.
Right.
The rifle was in the cabin, couldn't do anything about it.
Now, I definitely think, in my opinion, again, because it's a very opinion show, I think shotguns saved a lot of deer's life. I mean, if there was that situation, you couldn't.
Right.
But the deer numbers really haven't changed. I don't know.
Most hunters aren't that concerned about saving deer's lives.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Deer. I look at it like that buck. I'm not concerned for the deer's life. I'm saying there was I don't know
prevented wounding.
Prevented wounding. I mean,
okay.
it's just.
I see where you're going.
Yeah, sure. I love deer. I eat them every day I can. But no, I'm not saying let's protect Bambi. But I'm just saying in that situation now, maybe that buck is that big giant buck you were talking about. Maybe he's another year older. He could have been, if you're managing the game, it could have saved that deer for the next year.
Right.
If that's the way you're looking at it.
I think the neighbors got him. He crossed into the hardwoods
because the neighbor was.
Let's see how many controversial discussions we can get into.
Yeah, right. Now I have a question about that too. What would you say a muzzle loader would be a good way to it's for the youth because you can control the hotness of the load?
There's a complexity to the loading process that I think could impose certain elements on a young hunter. They'd be so wrapped up in mastering that complexity that it could detract from the experience. And frankly, loading a muzzleloader requires a certain degree of dexterity and strength that's better suited to adults.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. If they are sitting with an adult, I mean, you're still the rifle is the better.
I really believe so. A bolt action or single shot, 243 7mm08, something like that, with a low magnification scope on it, something that is properly fitted to the youngster, is going to maximize the experience.
Perfect. There you go. Summed it all up. So I think we wrapped up with Bagara. Is there a second, right? Is that
man.
I know I love the questions.
We can go.
Yeah, we can keep going.
We can go on and on. Take it in a different direction. One thing that I focused on a little bit, I'm bringing in a small selection of what we call cowboy guns.
Yep.
Single action revolvers, the Colt clones, in 38 special, 357, 45 for people who just want to get out and play with them, think they're cool, want to sit and have one in their hand when they're watching the old John Wayne movie, or if they want to get into the cowboy action sport. I'm
just imagining. Sorry for me. Being 23, Mike and I from the bowstring room, Red Dead Redemption. Just can't stop thinking about that right now because I'm thinking we're gonna come in with the second we start having these cowboy guns, and him and I we're gonna be wearing our leather chaps, boots, and spurs, and cowboy hats.
That's going to be a special day.
Yeah. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that.
No.
It's out there.
No, it's out there. Yeah, no, we're going to require this, aren't we?
We will invite everybody to the store that day.
You know what? If we do a store launch event and we get enough people wanting to come, I would definitely do that.
You don't want to go head-to-head with Carl on that one. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. The man has been paid to put on his cowboy clothes.
But my other question personally is, what can we expect for like a starting, like a baseline retail price for those kind of guns? Because those can get pretty expensive too.
I'd have to look at the exact numbers, but I think in the 500 range for something decent. One thing I don't want to do too top heavy here is go into the real brutally poorly built junk guns.
Right.
I understand that there are a lot of different budgets out there, and I'm trying to meet those as best I can. But if someone wants to get into that, especially if they're going to get into competitive cowboy action shooting, they don't want to start with a junk gun that's wasted money.
Right. Easy enough.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't think. Well, see, that's the thing about our store, though, is we never really go into the low end stuff, just because it's not really worth it to sell stuff that's not going to work good for people. Like we want to be able to cater to everybody.
Comes back to that buy nice or buy twice, right? I mean,
and I'm a firm believer. And you can ask my wife because she hates my spending habits when I have a hobby or something. But I usually go all in just because if I enjoy it as much as I think I'm going to, why would I want to have to upgrade in a year?
Now, having listened to you say that, and I agree to a large extent, I would also want to tell anybody, you have a firearm need and you have a certain budget, come in, challenge me, I'll deal with it.
Well, yeah, I was going to ask that question earlier. So, like, when customers come in on the fishing and the archery world and make product suggestions, that can definitely still happen in the gun world, right?
Absolutely.
With ammunition and or optics, something like that. Like, so optics, our brands are going to be...
Our primary brands to start with are going to be the big ones. Vortex is the Wisconsin company that everybody, if I understand things correctly and I have to word it properly, I believe they are the largest retail sporting optics manufacturer in the world right now. It struck me as being a little hard to believe when I heard it, but I might be wrong. But when I heard this, it doesn't surprise me. Vortex has gotten where they are today with an incredible history of customer service and their warranty. Basically, if you don't lose it entirely or intentionally damage it, they will repair it or replace it forever for free, no questions asked. They pay shipping. They have been known to repair or replace optics that were damaged in house fires and car accidents. They've got all the other manufacturers chasing them in that regard, which is good for the industry.
Yep,
definitely.
Our other big brands are going to be, of course, Leupold, Nikon. I'm going to bring some Burris product in on the lower end. I'm going to try to stay away from really low-end optics because that's a heartache waiting to happen. Yeah. Someone buys a decent gun because this is what they want, and they've got a little bit of money left in the budget, so they put it into a cheap optic. That optic goes bad. That nice rifle, shotgun, pistol, whatever that you bought is now worthless.
It's not a joy to shoot anymore.
You've got to be prepared to invest some money in outfitting that gun properly. But having said that, I think I got some True Glow scopes coming in, and possibly some Simmons, primarily for the rimfire market where there's not as much recoil affecting the optic.
So that would be like that pellet gun area that we're talking about, or the...
pellet guns actually can be really, really hard on the optics. They have a reverse recoil. Spring air guns, the spring-operated guns, they have a reverse recoil that most optics are not designed to take. You can take a really, really, really high-end scope and put it on a cheap air rifle and destroy it.
Really?
Vortex says no problem with their optics, but
no problem as far as they can handle it?
As far as warranty and handling it, yeah.
Wow.
again, I don't want to marginalize our air gun customers. A good air gun is going to cost as much as a good rifle. An optic for that should be proportionate.
Yep.
So be prepared. And again, if you want something cheap, we can get you something cheap. If you want something that is commensurate with the value, with the quality of the gun you're putting it on, talk to us. We'll find something for you that works.
I can't wait for that day when somebody comes in and just has this gun that's out of nowhere, and all of a sudden you're just like, yeah, I'm excited to try to find this thing for you.
Oh, yeah.
It's like
that's
challenge
fun.
accepted.
That's fun. I've met that challenge a few times in my life.
What's an example of that?
Have you found the DP12 yet? Did you get one for Brian?
Yeah, I got one of those coming in.
Awesome. There we go.
Yep, I
You
got
should
one
bring a
of those coming
picture
in.
of that thing up for those who don't know.
I'll find one. You guys
That's-
keep talking. I'll find one.
That thing is nuts.
The toughest example of that is guns that are no longer in production. Somebody says, geez, you
Yep.
guys don't ever get in any of these. And unfortunately, he's probably wandering around looking at every used gun rack
Right.
that he can find. And sooner or later, somebody comes up with it. There's no control over that. Really high demand, low volume firearms, allocated guns, the gun that is in such high demand, everybody wants it and nobody can get it.
Yep.
That's a catch as catch can sort of thing.
Real
Yeah.
quick, that is the DP12 on the screen. I've got it up on the screen right now.
Oh,
that
man.
thing is sick. So I've kind of fallen off of all this stuff, but that's semi-automatic pump shotgun with a double barrel, right?
No, it's just strictly
Or is
pump.
it just
Strictly
pump?
pump. Okay.
Yeah,
See, 'cause
it's
I know
pump,
that
boom, boom, pump, boom, boom. That's
Wow.
exactly the sound it makes.
That's amazing.
Every time you rack the slide, you are ejecting 2 empties and loading 2 live rounds.
We all need one.
I don't know about that.
I think a lot of people want one. I think a lot more people want one than need one.
Right.
But again, we're fine with that. One of the things that you're going to find in this business is people will come in and they'll want something a little bit different, a little bit fun, and they almost feel like they're embarrassed to ask for it. They say, I'm thinking I'm looking for home defense. Hey, calm down. You're in a gun shop. You don't have to justify anything in here. Seriously. Save that
justification
for
either.
your spouse. In here, you can say, "Hey, I want one of these."
Yeah.
Great. Let's hook you up.
Yeah, it is funny when you listen to people try to convince like themselves as you're talking to you. It happened a lot with the crossbow world for a while.
You don't
It was
have
like,
to do that here.
well, I got a bum shoulder, or my back's not the same. I always look at them like, I don't. It's not like I don't care, but I'm like, dude, you don't have to tell me like,
No.
you want a crossbow? Let's get you a crossbow. That's all there is to it,
Right.
And not to get off the gun subject so much, but I've dealt with that as well. And people say, I gotta say, hey, you know what? In my life, I have killed deer with a longbow, a recurve bow, a compound bow, a crossbow, a handgun, a shotgun, rifle, muzzleloader. If they come out with a spear season next year,
I was about to say,
Guess
what about
what?
a tomahawk?
Yeah.
Have you used a
it's
tomahawk?
it's all good.
It's all good.
It's all good.
Yep.
So you don't have to justify
Whichever
that stuff.
one you have confidence in and you're efficient with, that's the one you should be using.
Yeah.
But it's almost like well, my buddies aren't going to be too excited about that. I'm like, are your buddies going to be? They're going to be a little jealous when you all of a sudden have meat in the freezer and they're like, oh, couldn't get a shot this week. It's like, well, should have had that other weapon. So
Stop caring so much about what your buddies think.
I know, right?
Yep.
Dude, just
Do what you want.
don't
Get
save
what you
Bambi.
want.
Don't
Shoot
save-
what you want.
Yeah. Yep. So that's another awesome topic. I'm still out of it today. I don't know why. Must not have enough
just- it's
energy
Friday.
drinks today.
You got to have at least 3 more 5-hour energies. That gives you a total of 15 hours of energy.
You're ready to go. You're ready to go.
Like yesterday, we could have just had our podcast yesterday when we were about to leave because at like 4 o'clock, I think you kind of peaked.
Yeah, it's getting a little giddy.
A little energetic.
Getting a little giddy. So, okay, so that was awesome. We're on cowboy guns, and I love that term, cowboy guns. I don't know if I like the fact that there's some guys at home watching like John Wayne movies with a cowboy gun in their hand.
Right.
That's a little weird to me, but
And you're missing a gene. Seriously, first gun shop I worked at, I had an apartment upstairs, and the owner lived downstairs. And every time a Clint Eastwood movie would come on, he'd grab a couple of Colt 6 guns and come upstairs and we'd sit there and just spin the cylinders while we watch the movie. Grown men.
Grown men. All right. Yep.
You got some chewing tobacco too in the cistern on the side of the couch.
No. Of all my vices, that's one I've managed to avoid.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that'd be like the modern day equivalent of like playing Call of Duty while like having an AR-15 on your lap. You know what I mean? Which I know that there's kids out there that do it.
Yeah.
Like you just know.
Oh man, that's mind blown. Let's
like watching fishing videos and holding on to your fishing
let's
pole.
Let's reel it back in here. So as far as we hit on some pretty good gun brands, I'm sure that we could talk for hours and hours. I mean, is there another one you want to just one more? We talked about 5. I think we're at 3.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, a company that's wholly owned by CZ, Dan Wesson. It could be talked about as one company or two. Dan Wesson brand is. They make one revolver, but for the most part, they're making some of the best production 1911s on the market today. We decided going into this that we wanted to carry one really exceptional brand of 1911. We're going to have 1911s from a lot of different manufacturers in here. But the Dan Wesson brand, really going to be excited about showing those. Some of the slickest, smoothest, most well-built 1911s I've ever laid hands on. The smoothest operating slide I've ever felt on a 1911 was a $1,200 Dan Wesson. Compare that to a $2,000, $3,000 gun from some other companies. Very, very impressive.
Nice. To kind of so we brands are important. Now you just talked about like quality. So as far as the Real Shot goes, as far as service, what kind of stuff are we going to be? We're obviously going to be selling guns. Are we going to do some in-house repairs? I mean, I know it's a broad topic and.
No, it is. But I want to be happy to address. I spent a lot of years, previous employer, involved in the service end of things. I will be the first one to say it. I am not a gunsmith.
Okay.
I've never even played one on TV. I have. I'm a pretty well trained firearm technician. I can do advanced gun cleanings. I can do simple parts replacements. I have probably mounted more scopes than most gunsmiths in central Wisconsin. I've mounted a lot of scopes. We're going to offer some those basic services here in store. Troubleshooting a gun. The average guy comes in and says, my gun doesn't go bang anymore. I can take a look at that, and often as not, it's a maintenance issue.
Okay.
Or something fairly simple. We get into, oh, no, this needs a part fit to it. Now, I can't do that, but we can offer those services.
Okay.
We have a subcontract agreement with a company that's going to be offering basically anything I can't do in the store, they're going to be doing for us. We can take care of everything for you, shipping of the firearms, getting it out, getting it back. As far as more in-house stuff here, installing a bead on a shotgun, installing sling swivels on a gun, other things that are not, they're going to fall under services, things like FFL transfers,
okay,
private party transfers, appraisals, things like that. We'll be able to offer full services. Not everything will be done here in the store.
Okay. Good. That summed it up really well. And like as far as like the appraisal area, we will be handling at some point the used area.
That point would be when the first guy walks in and sells us a used gun.
Right. But that can't happen until March.
I can't go to the used gun distributor and order them up.
Right.
But when they start walking in the door here, we will have an area specifically designated for used long guns, a case for used handguns, and it will slowly build as our customers trade in or sell us guns.
Cool.
Awesome.
It's just
we're excited for it. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm excited for it. I
it's-
like guns. I've always loved guns. My family is very centered around guns. My uncle is crazy with guns. I mean, he has it's either 100 or 125 yard, like fully functional gun range on his property. and at least 50 long guns.
That's good to start.
In his bunkhouse. Yeah, right? He's got to start. I mean, he has a wall made of tires that's like really deep because he has an AR-50 A1, I want to say, by Armalite.
Okay.
The single shot 50 cal. So we go up and use that. But he's
And he
also
can
got
only shoot to 125 yards?
well, they've got other areas to go shoot it.
Okay.
He's got a short piece of property, 125 yards. It's almost as long as the property.
That's like being able to practice with your Matthews bow out to 15 yards.
Yeah, right. It's just kind of a waste.
Well, something that he always used to tell me about was his friends that all had their FFLs and everything. So they all had their legal fully automatic weapons, which had anything from 50 caliber Browning machine guns from like tops of Humvees to just your M249s or M240s and things like that. And they would go out to the quarry and just have a day where they would just go blow stuff up.
Yep, that's a Class 3 dealer's license, and I had one for a few years back in the 80s.
Yeah.
It's like
We get another
it's
one?
a great way to get rid of ammunition.
Yeah, right. I can only imagine. You got to start making your own at that point. Or at least refit them.
Even then, they'll bankrupt you for fun.
Yeah. I'm just listening to you guys talk. Like, I'm not a gun person at all. I own 2 shotguns and a muzzle loader. Yeah, right.
Yeah, we're gonna get that changed.
And it's it's not like I'm not against guns. I've always taken the challenge of archery stuff. I love archery just like you guys love guns and stuff. And
You own more guns than I do. I only have 2.
yeah, and that recently just happened a couple of years ago. I purchased my first shotgun, and I bought a youth model 20 gauge, and now I love my CVA muzzleloader. That's probably my most prized gun I have. But like, I'm listening to you guys throw these numbers out, and I'm just like, what?
I'm gonna warn both you guys. It'll make you poor.
Yep.
Dude, my wife doesn't need another reason for me to buy more stuff.
Right when I'm done buying all of my ice fishing
The phrase
gear.
you want to remember is, "Here, dear, look what I got for us."
Yeah. Look
See
what I got for us.
See this bolt action Remington R700? This is for home defense. Just trust me on that.
Well, I'm excited for the fact of is my knowledge getting better, and her and I, we kind of live in rural Wisconsin. I mean, we have a couple neighbors, but they're not. And she's, if I go on trips or stuff like that, she's always kind of just concerned a little bit, which she should be. She's feisty, but. So she is excited as well to build her knowledge on this stuff. We've always tossed around the idea of getting our concealed and all that kind of stuff, and I'm just excited to learn more. Learn more proper knowledge is what excites me about all this stuff.
Yep.
I can't wait to see you guys start hammering guns off and firing them everywhere. And Zach's doing some pretty awesome, amazing videos and that kind of stuff too. But I'm just looking to expand my knowledge in this area.
It's a good time.
It's got to happen. It's got to happen.
It's got to happen. Yeah.
Yep.
No, I'm looking forward to maybe getting some range time out there with you guys and your special equipment here.
Yeah, it's gonna be Zach's.
See what we can do.
Yeah, and for your love of videography and still photos and all that stuff. Plus now you partner that with guns and you throw Steve and Mark and Carl and all that.
Oh yeah,
dude, it's gonna be some pretty awesome footage.
Definitely.
Carl's talking about great big clouds of smoke and drones. Okay, Carl.
We can do that.
That is something. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but lately, I mean, the Black Rifle Coffee Company has some of the best commercials.
It is awesome coffee too, by the way.
Yeah, delicious coffee.
I never had their coffee. Again, like I'm not a coffee guy. I maybe I am missing a gene someplace.
Who are you?
Yeah, what's going on, dude? I need some testosterone boosting. But their commercials are absolutely hilarious. I love them, and that's just because they shoot a lot of guns in their videos, which is what we can do here.
What does any video need more of? Coffee and
guns.
See, and that's something that we could definitely think about. We should get in touch because this comes from a little totally different topic. But like, there's a bird store. I feed birds a lot in my yard. It's been a thing I've done since I was a kid. But they have a coffee there that goes. All their proceeds go to the Amazon, which is like helping all the migratory birds have a place to stay before their forests are destroyed. Well, Black Rifle Coffee Company, all of their proceeds go to all the stuff that we love here in freedom-loving America, and we should see if we can carry that. We offer coffee in the store. We should see if we can get it in here. That'd be relevant.
Let's reach out to him.
I'll reach out to
You
him.
got my support.
Yeah.
Let's get him.
Well, cool. I mean, we've talked about just about an hour on this kind of subject. I mean, it's. I don't know if there's any other good questions that have rolled in here in a minute or two. My brain hurts just because there's so much gun knowledge in this room.
Right. I think one of the best things about this is we can tone down that talk. We can bust into the only other topic we had, and then that's our show.
Yeah, unless you got. I mean, you're the master of all this stuff. You got some things you wanna hit on here?
No, that's about all I got to say about that.
What is the coolest gun we have on order? Like just cool factor. What is the coolest thing we've got on order right now? And I'll look up a picture.
Cool
of
is such a subjective thing.
What's the first gun that Zach's gonna want to buy? He's yeah. I love what's going on right now.
He's like, I bet it's a Sig Mosquito.
He's trying to figure out where Zach's at in the world, and he's picking out a gun.
I'm gonna defer on that. I have no idea.
I know. I got to keep you guessing.
The enigma that is Zach is.
Well, did you order anything?
I don't know, something pink.
Either that or bright teal.
I don't know.
Bright teal works too.
Did you order something that really caught your eye besides that little Mentos style gun? I mean,
I'm pretty jaded. The ones that people are going to come in and say, oh, can I see that? Okay. I've got a Performance Center Smith & Wesson 460 coming in. Comes with a bipod, fluted barrel. Just a massive, massive handgun. A lot of people are going to want to lay hands on that just because. Magnum Research, Desert Eagle, and 50 AE. The cowboy guys, I've got a Cimarron 1873. They call it the Texas Brush Popper, as I guess kind of a bit of an homage to True Grit. Half round, half octagon barrel, and 357 case hardened receiver. Checkered walnut. It's a beautiful, beautiful gun. The New England North American Arms mini revolvers. Literally hold it in the palm of your hand, drop it in your pocket. Second, third line of defense is that last thing before you start crying and wet yourself when you're being attacked. It's going to depend on who you are. Right. Browning and Winchester offer some deluxe versions of some of their Winchester Model 70. The Winchester 101 over under. I've got a couple of those coming in with figured maple stocks. They're just gorgeous guns. Again, it comes back to everybody that walks in this door. They're going to see something back there that they can't wait to get their hands on.
What about cases and or like concealment, like, I don't know what you call
holsters?
them. Yeah, body holsters or whatever.
Sure. Still working on a lot of those orders.
Yep.
But yeah, I want to carry the whole holster world is that's a swamp you walk into. I can have a department packed full of nothing but holsters and have somebody come in and say, "Do you have one of these?" and go, no.
Everybody makes.
This gun, I want to carry it this way, and I need it left-handed. And
right.
I'm sorry. We're going to have a good starter selection of holsters that will probably suffice for most people's needs, unless they start getting into, oh, geez, yeah, it was great, but I wanted it in brown.
Oh.
We are going to carry a line of concealed carry purses, handbags for ladies. I'm excited about that. Ladies have a tough time with concealed carry between the nature of the feminine physique and fashion dictates. They have a hard time with concealed carry. A lot of them choose to go off-body carry in a purse, a handbag. Unfortunately, a lot of times when a lady is assaulted, her first realization that she's in the presence of a criminal is when she loses her purse. So a properly designed handbag that's going to allow her to keep it secure, a crossbody strap that's not going to be easily ripped away from her with good, strong attachment points, and then a place inside to keep that handgun secure, not that, oh, it's down in the bottom here someplace with the keys jammed through the trigger guard and everything. They're properly designed for ladies for concealed carry. Really excited about that.
Yes,
those in
that sounds awesome. I mean, there's a good reason for more of the women to come in here and get educated. That's awesome.
I think one thing to address too, just on that subject, There is a huge misconception, and maybe it's not a misconception, maybe it's just the change of times, is that in this industry it's male dominated. I mean, that's a fact. It's absolutely male dominated.
absolutely.
But here's the thing, at least about our shop, is if you are a woman and you want to come in here and get educated on anything outdoors, but especially firearms, come in here. You're not going to feel any less of a person to ask these questions.
I'm glad you
it's
mentioned
not that way.
Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned
It's
that.
absolutely not that way.
I try to stay as modest and humble about my experience and my knowledge in this business as I possibly can. Among the things I take the most pride in is the way I deal with people who don't have the experience, with the really young, with ladies, with the elderly. I take their business seriously. I make it a point not to be condescending.
Right.
The guy who comes
Absolutely.
in with his girlfriend says, "Yeah, the little lady here, she wants something to protect herself. We need to get her a really small little pistol that she can."
Yeah, that's
Those are generally the worst ideas for these people.
Yep.
So I like having a real good, honest, grounded conversation with the ladies. About their personal needs, and then do whatever I can to meet those.
Because at the end of the day, if say a couple comes in here, at the end of the day, the guy's not the one shooting her gun.
right.
That's it.
Well, and we've gotten a lot of good responses from that in the archery world.
Yep.
You know, a lot of them, like a lot of husbands will say, she doesn't want to listen to me, or mom and dads will say the same thing, but they'll listen to us in the proper way. And then right off the bat, I was guilty of it for the longest time. Like when I first started to try to get, the females I knew into archery world, you lose your patience really fast, right? Why can't you do it this way? And the problem, first of all, is it was a hand-me-down bow that was not the right setup. So again, on that, once we realized that here at the Real Shot, and we put full-fledged, effort into making sure that you feel comfortable 100%, there's a lot of times where ladies will come in without their spouses because they feel more comfortable, and and I like it even because you don't have their husband saying, "You're doing that incorrectly. That's not." Listen, then all of a sudden, how do you politely say, "Why don't you go have a soda?"
Right. Well, it was the same thing when I was selling cars. So I sold cars for 3 years, and when I was selling cars, it was the same thing. You come in, husband, wife, husband. Well, she wants this, 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 and this. And then I look at her and go like, "Do you want this, this, and this?" And then she goes, "No." And I said, "Okay, you go get a coffee, and you and I will have a conversation about what you want."
Yeah, it's
to put it bluntly.
Yeah.
In response to what you were just saying, back in the late 1980s, I actually wrote an article that was published in Bow Hunting World about getting your spouse, your girlfriend involved in bow hunting. And so exactly what you're saying. I encourage people, don't just try to give her your old gear so that you can buy something new.
No,
I'll bring that in and show it to you sometime. I know exactly where my copy
That's awesome.
is.
Yeah, it would be something cool to post to the social media world, so people. I
Definitely.
think that's a great accomplishment, and it's for that subject at that time too. That's not an easy one to get into.
Just to get into one other offshoot of this is we have to remember we're talking a lot about spouses and everything, but we live in a world now where there are more single women just on their own going and adventuring the outdoors than ever before.
Isn't that great?
I mean,
It's phenomenal.
Awesome. It's literally the most
exciting. It's
fantastic.
really
It should be
thing.
a
exciting.
dating site for that.
Outdoorsonly.com.
Yeah,
that's
right.
mine. I'm starting that today.
Yeah. Well, and the cool thing about it too is like here at the Real Shot now, we've broadened our horizons. We have many females on staff now that have awesome outdoor knowledge and are willing and excited. So watch for more, women's style nights here, events, all that kind of stuff. It's going to start happening more because, Mark and I always kind of ran them, and Mark does a phenomenal job with that kind of stuff. And we had good turnouts for that kind of stuff. But now I'm excited for, some of the ladies that work here to help run that kind of stuff.
Well, think about the empowerment that comes from, 3 years ago, have a ladies' night. There's no ladies on staff, right? Think about that. Now you're seeing the actual legitimate involvement of females in the industry, not on the consumer side, but in the industry itself very heavily. I mean, everywhere from the brands themselves to the stores and everything in between. So
it's exciting. It's
a
really
very
exciting
time.
stuff. So cool. I thought this is awesome. This is a really good one. I like this one. This is a good one. You got anything else, my man, Steve? I'm not trying to cut you off. You can keep talking, dude. We can work right through lunch if you want.
Yeah.
I think you've about drained me from today.
All right. Well, we'll be back next week.
Yeah,
with more.
But we're gonna hit on one last thing here, off topic. But the one area that we are really promoting lately is our Real Deals section on the website.
Definitely.
Zach's gonna bring that up, and why this is important is because this is kind of a clearance area, and where the hot buy areas go.
Right.
So we get a lot of questions about like hot buys. Are they still available? You know, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
As soon as we post them to social media,
Yep.
you can always go back to the website under. It's literally on the drop down box.
I've got it pulled up.
You got it.
Yep.
Why don't you walk them through it there?
So if you go over to therealshot.com, right on our main page on the left side, you'll see that shop tab that's dropped down with a bunch of different topics. Right at the bottom, I think we're going to change that to hot buys.
It's been discussed. Yeah,
But right now, it's Real Deals. You go down there, click this Real Deals tab, and every hot buy or clearance item that we upload will be right here on the site for you, where you'll be able to check and say, hey, you know what? I saw this on Facebook 3 hours ago. I was at work. I couldn't buy it. You can come in here. You can check out it real time, real live inventory.
Yep.
So you can actually go in here and say, you know what? I really want this $20 kit of Impulse Plastics. Let's check it out. Go in here, look at that. We've got in stock 5.
Yep.
For $20. That's an awesome deal. Add it to your cart, purchase it. It's there.
And it shows you the savings kind of under. It doesn't spell it out exactly, but
it just shows you what the MSRP is, or what the retail price was before we changed it. So that's all there. I mean, that's everything from our used bows to our hot buy bows to our hot buy plastics. All of the stuff from Anglers Avenue that we've been filtering through. That's in there as well.
We're trying to fill that. Like hourly. I mean, right now hot buys go out. I think they go out 2 times a day, 9 and 5.
Right.
And we're constantly finding stuff to put on there. So make sure if you are looking for a good deal, check out the Real Deal portion of the website.
Right. And this is a great time to be a customer of the Real Shot because of the fact that we are growing so rapidly and adding so much to our store that we're having to really pay attention to what's in our warehouse. And this is where we're finding all this stuff that we didn't, maybe we thought we sold out of X product, but now we found 1 or 2 more.
Yep.
And we just go, hey, let's just get rid of them. So this is the best place to check for it. I mean, we've got it there. I mean, it's filled up already with products and bows and everything. I mean, you can see we've got this demo Elite Enlist. It's a right-hand 60-pound bow compound, $399, and the original retail price was $749.
Dude, that bow's brand new.
Like literally brand new. That was just a demo product.
Yeah, it for the most part, a lot of those, like if we're calling them demo bows, they've probably only been shot, if they were shot at all, less than 50 times.
Right. Which is nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the break-in period, like halfway through the break-in period for a good string, for a good bow. So
right.
A lot of times, the new bows that I'm listing as demo, either one of us shot them or they just need to be moved out.
Right.
So they're virtually brand new bows. We just can't call them brand new because they've been shot once or twice. It's the same thing as
wherever else you go. I mean, if you think about it, you go to Walmart, you wanted whatever 26-inch TV. They don't have any, but they have a floor unit, and then they take $50 off because it was a floor unit, and you still buy it. It's the same thing here. So.
And the other thing I wanted to say is like just a little insider secret. Sometimes products show up on Real Deals before they show up on social media.
Right.
So
if you want to train yourself to hawk that, that's
before the post happens at those certain times, you may want to check the Real Deals because it might be in there first. But that's it. That's the only secret I'm going to give away. So. I mean, Zach, anybody else on there? Like, we got these cool hats.
We've got
EC Davis is going to.
I feel like everybody's at work right now on a Friday going, like, I just want to get done.
Right.
So they're not watching. And then
they're
going to watch tonight and go, well, man.
Get home or they're waiting for lunchtime to watch the TRS live. So.
Well, it is Free Hat Friday.
We're
giving away one of them to Mr. EC Davis.
Yep. So watch for them. They might show up through on. We'll monitor this.
Right.
Comments
and I'll tell you what, where there's 3 left. So if you're watching up to this point and you've made it this far on your own time, you ask us a question, send us a message, reference the video.
Yep.
And there you go. You might get a hat.
Yep. So
awesome.
EC contact us right now since he's the only one that would. Who asked the other question about the home defense though? That was a good question.
So that was Ryan from yesterday. So he's back. which
Cool.
we're gonna say thank you, but gave you some good stuff in your packages.
Yeah, one winner
you purchased
per week, possibly. So
right,
that was a really good question. No, so anyways,
Definitely.
EC, let us know which hat. I mean, I think you can see them all on the screen. Let us know which one you want, and we'll have it up front for him. He's a local guy, so
Definitely.
otherwise, cool. Yeah, happy Friday, everybody. Get out there, be safe, and dress warm.
It'll be a little nipply.
And just a wee bit.
And it's not getting any better anytime soon.
I walked outside this morning, and I don't watch the weather because it's always wrong.
Right. It's like
So-
watching the news. It's just
So I
depressing.
gamble. Every day to me, it keeps life exciting because you never know what to expect. You just wake up and you're like, this is the weather today.
Yep.
I walked outside, turned around, went back in. Like, yep, nope, not doing it.
And Zach, for some reason, has this idea that he wants to go out to the ice today and shoot a video.
Because I bought a striker suit, which in this weather
I
feels
mean,
like you're
I love
nice
my
warm in a
striker
cabin.
suit, Steve, but dude, I don't know.
He's young.
He's young. Yeah. Well,
What can I say?
We may be on the ice at some point this afternoon. We got to do it today because it's only going to get colder from here on out.
Yep. Well,
Plus more snow.
Have fun. I'll
We'll
be
give her a
where it's
shot.
warm.
Yeah, cool. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. Happy Friday, and then be safe this weekend. And Monday, 10 o'clock, huge announcement. Last
Definitely.
one.
biggest announcement.
Biggest
so far.
announcement. Giveaways. More giveaways that day. Special guests. So Monday, 10 o'clock, TRS Live.
Absolutely. See you guys then.
See you later.